The Books of Doom has got to be one of the best origin comics ever made. It tells Doctor Doom's story as if it was a literary epic. And it tells all the important things about Doctor Doom, like his tragic childhood and his rise to power and how he became the king of Latveria. This comic is a must read for anyone who loves Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is one of, if not the best Marvel supervillain of all time. And like most comic characters, Doom has had his backstory expanded upon or revisioned over the years. And the impressive thing is that Ed Brubaker, who writes this story, organizes all the additions to Doom's backstory over the years into a solid and cohesive biography, so that it is pretty easy to follow for new readers, while also respecting what came before, so that old fans can appreciate the effort and research that went into organizing Doom's story. What I appreciate about this comic is that Brubaker doesn't try to reimagine or remake Doom's backstory, but mostly retells it in a simpler way that is more straightforward and easier to follow, and also respecting the character and the lore. An interesting thing about this story is how it is told in Doom's perspective. So not only do you get some cool Doom narration, but you also get this interesting biased perspective of how Doom sees himself and his choices. Occasionally you get to see other people from Doom's life and their perspective of Doom, and their experiences knowing Doom. But this comic is definitely Doctor Doom's comic, and he gets to steal the show and tell his story his way. And when the comic is supplemented with Pablo Raimondi's art, I don't know if that's how you say his name, it's like looking at a cinematic epic. The art has this realistic cinematic look to it, while also embracing the comic bookness that is Doctor Doom and his crazy mission to take over Latveria. Another thing I also like is that the story keeps Doom's face hidden throughout most of the story, keeping a mystery of what Doctor Doom looked like after the accident, whether it was fully scarred or just a scratch that was still able to mess Doom up. And speaking of Doom telling his story his way, the story feels like if Doom is really telling the story, down to how his dialogue is written and him using big words, and how he explains why he does what he does. It can be a joy to read, and I can imagine it could be such a joy to say out loud. This comic just gets Doom's character right. From his journey to his personality, this comic shows why Doctor Doom is such a great character. And one of my favorite parts about this comic, especially about Doctor Doom, is that it shows how dramatic Doctor Doom can be. Like when Doom knows he could just take out the Baron right away and be done with it quickly, but instead he takes his time and chooses to build his reputation and spread the word to Latveria that he's planning a revolution. Or another part where Doom takes advantage of his pulsar boost, which can only take him short distances, but it allows him to make a dramatic entrance. It's just things like that that I love about Doom, and how he can be so extra and dramatic sometimes, which can be both silly and pretty cool. This story has a good balance between making you sympathize for Doom, but also realize how twisted and evil he can be. So like I said, this comic is a must read, especially for those that want to research more about Doctor Doom, whether it's his backstory or his psychology. Doctor Doom has such an interesting backstory that it's a shame some adaptations, especially the movies, don't take advantage of this. As a Doom without Latveria or any skill with magic and science is just not Doctor Doom.